Matt,
Yes, sir.
it is Christmas,
It is.
or at least this show is being launched on Christmas, and so I want to tell you a Christmas story.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to tell you the coin collector story of the little drummer boy.
Awesome.
The Bicentennial Quarter, the United States Bicentennial Quarter. There are over 1.6 billion bicentennial quarters that were minted. That is the largest mintage of any quarter since 1965 at the time. 65 quarter, they made 1.8 billion coins.
Good Lord.
The mintage was so large that it took 3 facilities to coin it all. They coined them at Philadelphia, Denver, and at West Point. They had to receive special permission for that. And this coin was minted for a year and a half, from 1974 to 76. For years leading up to the bicentennial, America was kind of coming out of a really depressed era. You know, Vietnam had just ended. All this strife, all this anti-government stuff was going on, and yet you had this giant anniversary coming up of our nation's 200th birthday. From somebody who lived through the time, maybe it was a really good idea that they had that because it kind of helped the nation heal a little bit. But for years leading up to that, the biggest problem facing our country and their coinage was coin hoarding and coin shortages. And in 1965, when they removed all the silver from the coinage, the primary concern of the mint was being able to put enough coin out there to facilitate the uses of commerce. In 1972, Mint Director Mary Brooks sent a letter to Senator Warren G. Magnuson of Washington on that very subject, on the subject of coin shortages, and it stated that the Treasury Department has long been on record as opposed to the issue of commemorative coins. It is the position of this department that these issues conflict with the purpose for which the coinage system was established, namely to provide a medium of exchange, and that they lead to indefensible abuses, notably to traffic in them for private gain. Now let's just stop there for a minute, because what she saw, is that prophecy or not?
Yeah, right.
Because that's pretty much what goes on. People traffic in them for private gain all the time. But, hoarding of coins was just an enormous concern of the mint in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And of primary concern was the elimination of coin shortages and what an issuance of commemorative coinage would create within the public insofar as demand and hoarding. So having just eliminated silver from the nation's coinage, coin shortages were not only fresh in their memories, but the elimination of them became job one at the U.S. Mint. That was like, if there's nothing else we get done, that's what we're going to do. The one issue that Brooks, the Treasury Department, and the U.S. Mint would concede to, and grudgingly at that, was to put the date 1776 on the 1976 coinage. So by 1973, the legislative process had begun. And, now it starts moving, and you know how once lawmakers start into it, it kind of grabs an inertia of its own. And congressional support for the bicentennial coinage was actually starting to appear. Legislation introduced in January 1973 consisted of 4 proposals. One called for the striking of up to 60 million $25 gold coins.
Really?
Yes. One asked for the reverses of the half-dollar and dollar coins only. One asked to change the designs on all the coins and make 40% silver halves and dollars. And the last one requested 140 million 40% silver half-dollar and dollar coins. Now, looking back on this in retrospect, which one of those happened?
Well, it was the change on the dollar and the half, the reverses, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but of those 4 proposals,
All of them, really?
None of them. None of them.
What? None of them?
Well, the government never struck the $25 gold coin.
Oh, yeah, that didn't happen, but they did
And
change.
as far as the half-dollar and the dollar, yes, they did, but that wasn't the thing. They changed the quarter, the half, and the dollar.
Ah, you're right.
And although they did make 40% silver halves and dollars, they would make 40% silver quarters to go along with it, and only as a special set. Now, any gold coin would mean that the private gold ownership ban instated by Franklin Roosevelt would have to be repealed.
Yep.
And 1975 was their target date for that. But Mary Brooks once again argued that any gold coin would need to be issued in a gold alloy to discourage the hoarding of them. This goes along with that 40% kind of idea. But this is kind of confusing to me because, personally, if they were gold commemoratives, did she think they were going to circulate?
That's apparently so, I guess. That's what it sounded like.
I think, and maybe she was just predicting the possibility. But, gold coin was not allowed to be owned in this country for for over 40 years at that point. So I really don't see any way that the gold was going to circulate, be that as it may. By July 1973, it was the gold coin that threatened the entire program. And an amendment to the coinage bill called for an end to the private gold ownership ban by January 1975. At Mary Brooks' request, it was dropped from the bill. And basically a respective sigh of relief was heard in the coin community because now they knew that that wasn't going to be the stumbling block that ended, the whole idea of them putting together this coinage. The bill that passed the Senate provided for bicentennial halves and dollars and a $25 gold coin. The bill that passed the House called for bicentennial quarters, halves, and dollars. Now, it's like many compromises were attempted and failed, but finally, on October 4th, 1973, the bill that we know was finally passed by both houses and signed into law on the 18th of that month. The bill provided for bicentennial designs on circulating quarters, halves, and dollars. It also provided that the West Point facility would be allowed to strike coins, that 45 million silver-clad coins would be produced in San Francisco, but no gold $25 coins would be minted. The coins would be minted from July 1st, 74 until December 31st, 1976. And here's something that you probably didn't know, Matt. If the Secretary of the Treasury saw fit, they could actually go on minting more of these coins with the bicentennial reverses, but they would have to add the 1977 date to them someplace.
Really? I was not aware of that.
That was in the legislation itself.
Huh, cool.
Yeah. Now, a contest was held for all three bicentennial designs in one contest. Have you ever seen the drawings for them?
I've seen a few, not very many.
They're really hard to find, and I was hoping that I could find a page on the net that listed them, but I was unable. Somewhere in Coin World's archives, because I remember seeing it as the front page of Coin World when it was an actual newspaper that showed the three winning designs. But in my favorite book, the Coin World Almanac, not the current version, but the 1976 first edition, it does show the 12 semifinalist designs. And they're really pretty interesting to see, but every single one of them is designed as a $quarter. So you see the Independence Hall reverse, but it says $quarter instead of half. And you see the Eisenhower Moon and Liberty Bell, but it says $quarter. So it's a little strange from that perspective, but it's neat.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The themes were pretty ranging. Everything from a couple of flags that said USA 200 over the top of it to a Liberty Bell in the traditional nuclear atomic pattern.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's really cool stuff. If you remember the eagle and I want to say it was moon design from the Amero patterns.
Oh, uh-huh.
There's one that looks just like that. That was a quarter proposal, and there was even one with the Apollo moon landing vehicle on it.
Huh.
Now, this is probably the first time that a coin that didn't win first place or a design for a coin that didn't win first place in a contest actually ended up on our coin, because the second place design ended up on the half and the third place design ended up on the dollar. And that was how they decided which each design would go to which coin.
Huh.
The winning designers all received a $5,000 prize. That was it. $5,000.
$5,000. Did they get paid in their coins?
No, not like Glenna Goodacre, which actually I thought that was a pretty good idea. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about parlaying.
Yeah, right.
She parlayed that money into something.
Yep.
Winning designs were announced March 6, 1974, and trial strikes were made August 12, 1974 at the Philadelphia Mint, with the new coins being put on display August 13th at the A&A convention in Bar Harbor, Florida. Now, the 1974 date would continue on the regular quarter, half, and dollar until the launch of the bicentennial coins in 1975. And the previous designs would be reinstated in 1977. But that's the story of the bicentennial quarter and how it came to be.
So how many of these did you go out and buy from the bank?
You know what's really ironic is last night in change, I got a bicentennial quarter.
Oh, it's fortuitous.
Yes. But here's my angle for you as a dealer. What do you do when you see bicentennial quarters?
Give them out in change.
Exactly. This is a coin that, I mean, is universally, people love the design. I mean, do you dislike the design?
No, I like the drummer boy design.
I like the design. I think it's cool. It's different. I don't think we've had anything that's really compared, even through the statehood quarter program and now the National Parks program.
No, it's definitely unique.
It is a very cool design, and yet virtually nobody collects them. They are exactly what Mary Brooks' nightmare was, which is hoarded, because I know people that since the 70s have a jar that they just throw every single bicentennial quarter that they get into. Like someday, the world is going to have, like, some volcano god is going to come up and he's going to say, I need bicentennial quarters, feed me. And that's what's going to save humankind. It's, I have no idea, but I was looking at the PCGS or the NGC pop reports, and it's like there are very few of them that are graded. There are some that are graded for, the registry sets.
Yeah.
And the overwhelming majority of them are 65. But they're 66s. Most of them top out at 67. I think there is one Denver MS-68 coin.
Well, there you go, Mike. There's your new mission in life.
To own the 68 coin, or to find...
To find one.
To find one.
To find one and have it made in a holder.
I would imagine that finding a supply of them to look through would not be real difficult.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the only bicentennial quarter that's really worth any money.
An MS-68 one.
Is that one right there.
Well, you have to find the Philadelphia one, because I believe the one that currently is in existence is a DMIT.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, the numbers, as I was looking at the NGC pop reports, are not real high. But you know how it gets, how okay, if 68 is your top, 67 is always going to be a bit bloated.
Yeah.
Because people just keep cracking out and resubmitting, trying to get that 68.
Yeah.
And so there are more 67s on record than are actually in existence. Even with those bloated kind of, there are very, very few of these that are certified.
Well, there you go, Mike. You just might have discovered the new niche that you need to be into.
Would you stop it? See, I like modern coins. You got to stop hating on modern coins so much.
No, I'm serious, man. I think you should open your own coin shop and call it Bicentennial Mike's Coins. That'd be awesome. Little Drummer Mike.